String compression. Let's get started. Okay, given an array of Given an array of characters, compress it in place, and the length after compression must always be smaller than or equal to the original array. Okay, so every element of the array should be a character of length 1. After you are done modifying the input array in place, return the new length of the array. So can you resolve it using only one? Okay. So let's take a look at the examples. We have A, B, B, and C, C, C. And then we return 6. The first 6 characters of the input array should be A2, B2, and C3. And AA is replaced by A2, BB is replaced by B2, CCC is replaced by C3. So you account the occurrences, you account the occurrences of the characters, and then attach the corresponding occurrence after the character. Let's take a look at the A. So A is just A. So if it only appears once, then we don't attach the number. That makes sense, because if you only have unique characters in a string, then if you attach number to it, you're going to make the length of the new string longer than the original string. So the third example has A, B, 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 B. So you have this many B's. And return 4. And the first characters of the input array should be A, B, 1, 2. Because you have A. Okay, A has nothing. A only has one A, but B has. It's 1, 2. So since the character A does not repeat, it's not compressed, and BBB is replaced by B12. Notice each digit has its own entry in the array. So we have 12 B's, and then 12 is 1, 2, which is split into 2 slots in the array. So, 35, 36. Okay, so now in order to, first of all, what I'm thinking right now is that, you gotta have, first of all, let's come up with one index by one after another. Let's see. So you have the index, the regular index that is going through the string. So you have I, and then you need to have an anchor, kind of like an anchor index, to anchor at the first appearance of this character, right? So you need another index, which is the anchor. So you have an index to go through the string, and then you have an so you have an anchor to keep track of the first character, the first appearance of the character, and then you need a third index, which is to actually write the new array. Why? Because the write index, it's not going to be the same as the regular index. It's this way. Okay, it's not going to be the same as the regular index. The write index is going to be shorter or equal to the original array. So you need to keep track of the write and the anchor. So okay, so first of all, do we need to create a new array, a character array, to save the result? I feel like it is unnecessary, because it's guaranteed that the length of the new array, of the new string, will be shorter and equal to the length of the original array. So I think we can actually just we can actually just overwrite the original rate. Since we already have an irregular index that is reading ahead of everything else, we don't have to worry about overwriting existing values. Okay, so we'll have anchor, which is the anchor is equal to 0, and then, well, first of all, we need to make sure that the length is equal to 0, or else everything is useless. We'll return 0. So anchor is 0, and then we have a right. It's equal to 0 again. So now we will iterate through this string. This string. So I is less than Charles.length. And so here I feel like we are going to use the length of the string very often. So here I will just copy and paste this so that we don't have to call the method every time we want the length. So we have the length and then I++. Okay. So first thing first is that first of all we need to check if the next occurrence. So first of all we need to make sure that we have not reached the end yet, because we're always comparing the next character to the previous one. So we need to reach out one slot further to check if the next one is going to be different. But first of all, if we have reached the end of the string, we're gonna have an index out of bound exception. So first of all, we will have to check if I+1 is equal to length, which means we have reached the end of the string, then what do? So we will now, since we have reached the string, it's time for us to append whatever we have to the string, right? So one situation is, so first, if I is equal to length, if I is equal to anchor, and second situation is if I is not equal to anchor. So if I is not equal to anchor, then we'll just do nothing, because we have already we'll just do nothing because we have because that means the character only has one occurrence, so we don't need to append anything. So if it's equal to length, and if I is not equal to anchor, which means that there is something in between. So if this is equal to length, and if I is not equal to anchor, and then we will compute the occurrence of this character. So let's call it frequency. Let's call frequency is equal to I minus anchor, right? So wait, hold up. Plus 1. If hold on. What I meant by that was not the index, but the character. Jesus, this is why it's so hard to talk while you code. It's impossible. So if the character at I is not equal to character at anchor, wait, this is when we we haven't reached the end. But so if I is not okay, so if I is not equal to anchor, which means that there's something in between, right? So okay, so frequency will be I minus anchor plus 1, right? So imagine that you have I is right next to anchor, so I minus anchor would be 1, but you have 2 occurrences, so you need to 2. So it would be I minus anchor plus 1. So this is a frequency, and then you need to convert this frequency to a string. So you'll need to have a, let's say, temp and a new string. Actually, you can use the integer toString and freak. Okay, so and then you will convert this. Actually, you can convert this to a character array, to chart array. And this will become the character, the array character, array character, the character array of the frequency. Okay, so now, so for each character in this temporary array, we will append. So keep that in mind that the right is still at anchor. So now, well, I guess so. Before we do that, we need to advance the right? Okay. So advance right, because right is still at anchor, so we need to move on to the anchor. And then we will have chars at right is equal to character. Now don't forget to increase it. Okay. Yes, but and then for anchor, don't forget that you have to increase the anchor by the difference, by the frequency difference. So anchor will be increased by the frequency, right? So if you have 2, 1, 2, right? If the frequency is 2, then you will anchor with 1, 2. Okay, that's right. And okay, so now, however, if I is equal to anchor, that means that we will need to write, and then else we will increase right plus plus. So don't you think so? Don't you think that this is a little bit abundant, because you are increasing right plus plus anyways? So So we should actually just do a right plus plus here, right? Because it's kind of abundant, because you're doing right plus plus anyways. Okay, so right plus plus. So if I minus is equal to len, then we should start writing, right? So another situation is that, okay, now is else if God damn it, I feel like I have one at a time. 1 minute. Yeah, one at a time. So else if I is now characters I plus 1 is actually now not equal to characters at anchor, which means that, oh, now it's time to start writing. And then we will have right plus plus again, and then if I is not equal to anchor, wait, that's pretty much the same thing. Okay, so we should actually just delete this, and then we will do or this. Okay, because we're eventually doing the same operation if the next character is not equal to the character at anchor, and then we can just return the the okay, then we'll just return the right, because that's the len, right? So the right index. Okay. God damn it! I don't have time to even eyeball checking it. That's oh, I forgot to delete this. Okay. Okay, seems pretty. All right. Let's submit it then. I want to test. All right, let's submit it. Wrong answer. What the fuck? B2, BB2. What the heck? Why is this doing this? This is weird. God damn it. And B is 9. Wow, this is really messed up. So if I plus 1 is equal to length, or character I plus 1 is not equal to characters at anchor. Okay? So which means that we should start writing, right? If it's the same, then we should. I mean, if it's the same, then we should keep advancing, right? But so we shouldn't do anything. Should we even wait? Should we even do right plus plus here? So first of all, I think that okay. So let's see if A here is correct. Okay, let's start from the beginning. So A here is correct, and then okay. So B is not if equal to A. Now, obviously, this is not equal to A. And then we should start writing to them, all right? So, wait, what the fuck? Why are you doing right plus plus here? Why would you do a right plus plus here? This is ridiculous. So, I minus I plus 1 is not equal to, so B is not, so, okay. So if I is not equal to anchor, well, I is equal to anchor here. So you don't actually need to do anything. But right now you forget to increase. I forget to increase the right. You know, if it's not equal to, if it's equal, then we'll just increase right. Wait, I feel like regardless. Okay, so we need to, if it's not equal to right, so else we need to increase right. Well, because A is already there, right? So we don't actually need to overwrite it. So right plus plus. And right is here. Well, I think I forgot to update anchor. right? Plus plus, and anchor should also plus plus, right? Because there's nothing. So anchor plus plus. So if they're equal, then anchor what plus plus anchor plus plus. And then once you reach this, so this will go all the way to the end. So here I is not okay, and then I minus anchor. So anchor now is at 0, 1. So at 1, and then you have the plus, so get the frequency, and then right. This one you'll be why? Now A is correct, but B is messed up. Oh wait! I think I forget to write the character first. In if I is okay. Okay, so if it's not equal to, I forgot. Oh god damn it. Yes, you forgot to do y plus plus. Oh well, since you need to do a plus plus anyways, so you get. So I was right. You need to do I plus plus regardless. And but the problem here is that you need to do anchor plus plus. It's pretty much the same thing, right? You don't actually need to verify if anchor is equal to or not, because this is essentially the same thing. So if they're equal, then this will just become 1. And if it's 1, we won't have to do this. So this will be the same, and we'll get rid of this, except that for this step. So except that for this step, if frequency is equal to 1, then we can, if it's not equal to 1, then we can just skip this step. Okay, much better now. Why is this pending? This one's much clearer. So I guess, yeah, what you need to learn from this is that you need to, what? You expect the answer is finished? Okay, for A2, B2, C3, and then, okay, looks right. Okay, so, yes, this is much clearer. This is much clearer. Let me see if it's, I already passed this. Yeah, I failed again. Okay, the counter is right, but the problem is that. Oh wait. Why is it A though? You're not overriding. Oh, okay. God damn it. Okay, so. So you need to. You need to override. Yes, I forgot about this case. It's 3, the current is larger than. God damn it! So you need to have the, because anchor, the positions of anchor can still be larger than the right index. So we will have Charles anchor. Wow. So okay, A3, B2, and A2. Okay, looks about right. Hopefully this time can pass. Accepted. Okay, perfect. Okay, finally. Yeah, to be honest, I prefer, actually I sometimes prefer hard or medium questions because they actually don't test, they actually test heavily on your data structure, like your knowledge of data structures. They see if you can utilize or leverage stack, queue, data, depth search, buffer search first. Um, they're testing the medium and hard questions. They're testing if you can utilize these data structures that you know. Um, but they don't, the logic wise, it's not very rigorous, to be honest. Not that I'm saying it's logic, but the logic is not very complicated once you figure out the data structure. But I don't like some of the easy string questions because there are a lot of edge cases, and if you've done a question that is asked you to convert a string to integer, I think that's called atoy. The edge cases are so many that is so annoying. But let's review this question. This is a good question though. So if you reach the end, or the next character is different from the current character you're going through, you're doing the same thing essentially. So I think it's really important before you start coding to go through your thought process, because essentially when you reach the end, or you see a different character, you have to do the concatenation regardless. And the first step is always overwrite and this is something that I didn't think of. I missed this step at the beginning. Okay, and then cause this to fail because A3 and then A3 becomes, yeah, you need to override that, motherfucker. So you overwrite the character at right position, and then I minus anchor plus 1. You calculate the frequency. If it's 1, you don't need to append anything, and then you it update the frequency. I mean, you update the anchor, so which makes sense if you actually think through this. Okay, well, I guess this is something to learn, and hopefully you learn something from this video. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.